It is well known that the Raspberry Pi 4 gets quite hot and reduces its processing speed if it has to work hard. In one of my Quickies, I tested the passive Flirc case. In the comments, viewers pointed me to 2 Chinese cooling solutions, and Cristopher from Explaining Computers tested a few others. Time for a new Quickie with a summary of all these coolers and some ideas for optimizations. Grüezi YouTubers, here is the guy with the Swiss accent, with a new episode and fresh ideas around sensors and microcontrollers. Remember, if you subscribe, you will always sit in the first row. First, Cristopher proved that the Pi 4 in its original case, even if not under full load, quickly reaches the 80 degrees Celsius, where it starts to reduce its speed. Definitely not the way to go. For his tests, he developed a small script. To get comparable results, I use his script, and I also applied the firmware upgrade to my Pi 4 to get a temperature relief on the USB controller. Which are the contenders? Cristopher tested a Noctua fan with and without additional heatsinks, a shim fan, and an ice tower with and without fan. I added the well-known passive Flirc case, a dual heatsink case with and without fans. And as a cheapo solution, I added a simple 60mm 5 volts fan using a 30mm long screw to attach it to the Pi. This solution costs less than $4. And we can even connect it to 3.3 volts if we want a quiet solution. The results are here, sorted from the cold to the hot. After 10 minutes of torture, the coolest solution keeps the CPU temperature at 42 degrees. The hottest one ends at 70 degrees Celsius. We see a pattern. The first 6 coolers are active solutions with fans. Then comes the first passive one, the Flirc, which is very innovative because it combines the heatsink and the case. Its results are very close to most of the active solutions. The exception is, of course, Cristopher's darling, the ice tower. And my cheapo fan is doing quite well, also on 3.3 volt. With the active shim fan, the CPU even gets 5 degrees hotter than with the passive Flirc case. The ice tower with the fan switched off and the Chinese passive heatsinks give similar results. What else is important? The Wi-Fi and Bluetooth antenna is here on the Raspberry. The Flirc as well as the heatsinks cover the antenna to a certain degree. In the lab, both Wi-Fi bands worked fine, also because the distance to the access point is only around 3 meters. So pay attention if you depend on a fast Wi-Fi. One of my viewers reported that he had troubles with the 40-pin connector in the Flirc case. And really, you cannot use a standard connector because it interferes with the stands for the screws. Usually, I use a different concept because I often do not need all the pins for my projects. I use individual crimped wires and empty shells. You find a link in the description to the videos where I show how I wire my projects, as well as a crimper comparison. The cheapo solution needs at least a 40mm screw if you want to use the pin header. By the way, the 60mm fan consumes 100 mA on 5 volts and 70 mA on 3.3 volts, which should be okay. What does this mean? The tests performed here are artificial. A Pi in a normal situation as an IoT server or desktop replacement will only be on the full load for seconds. Definitely, cooling is also needed for such cases if you do not want your CPU temperature above 70 degrees all the time. But a passive heatsink is good enough. Which solution is best? If you plan to do pattern recognition and other CPU-intensive applications, An active solution is better and I recommend it. Keep in mind that all fans create some noise, wear out sooner or later, and for sure attract dust like magnets. Especially the cheaper fans will probably not last forever. You have to check from time to time if they still work. All passive solutions are good enough to avoid throttling, which would be very bad for compute-intensive applications. For normal usage they are anyway okay. A solution shown in 2 of my earlier videos could be a good compromise. A temperature-controlled fan. Either by regularly measuring the CPU temperature and adjust the fan speed accordingly, as shown in video number 131, or to paste a temperature-sensitive switch to the heatsink and use it to switch the fan off if not needed, as shown in video number 180. My favorite, however, still is the Flirc case, with all its limitations. It looks nice and does its job. I hope this video was useful or at least interesting for you. If true, please consider supporting the channel to secure its future existence. You find the links in the description. Thank you. Bye.